welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into Unintentional Love Story. We're diving into the penultimate episode, episode 9. We just finished reacting to episode 8, and it was the episode I've been dreading since the start of the series, where Won Young is basically in the doghouse, being all apologetic, feeling all the things because Taejun finally found out about his secret, and now it's just a matter of trying to find some way to reach him, get that forgiveness, rebuild that trust, and get the ship sailing again, while also trying to get our other ship sailing. So we're going to dive in and just see if we can get some ships a sailing. Okay. I mean, there are a lot of really great things storytelling wise that happened in this. Again, the soundtrack is absolute fire. I've been enjoying the soundtrack ever since I bought it on iTunes a couple weeks ago. It's just been, it's so good. It's so damn good. But yeah, when it comes to these two ships, again, we spent a lot of the episode kind of where we were last episode with Taejun and Won Young, which makes sense because, again, I don't want them to resolve this stuff like overnight, because they've been doing such a good job of giving me a kind of realistic portrayal of these complicated emotions. I talked a lot about it last episode, but you know, Taejun, he's already been hurt. He had this ball. He let Won Young in, and he got his feelings hurt. He felt betrayed again. So it's not something that you can just get over overnight. It takes a lot to rebuild that trust, if at all. But thankfully for us, narratively, Taejun has a lot of people in his corner who are trying to get him to see that Won Young's his feelings were genuine. Whatever lies he told or deception, which, you know, still not good. Not saying that he should just forgive him, because again, it's not great. It's not a great, lies are not a great foundation for any relationship. But his feelings were genuine. The love, the attraction, whatever they felt between each other, that was genuine, that was real. And I feel like his friend, I can't remember his name, the one who fainted, basically put it best, and was kind of the one who finally like reached him, and basically said, I haven't said anything to you over the past however many years about this, but it's time to let go of the past, baby. Because if holding on to the past is possibly preventing you from something good for you in your present and in your future, is it really worth it? And I think that is fantastic advice. Now, I'm not saying letting go of the past means just forgiving everything that he did. No, I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. Again, there's still a lot of work that needs to go into rebuilding this trust and rebuilding the dynamic of the relationship. But I think the letting go of the past he was referring to was this past relationship with whatever the hell the other guy's name was, that hurt him so deeply that he's just carried this emotional scar for the last 5 years. He's like, let go of that. You're not saying you got to be friends with that guy, not saying you got to make up with that guy or anything like that, but just learn how to let go of that. Because if you keep holding on to that, you're never gonna really fully be able to embrace love, whether it's with Won Young or somebody else in the future. Who knows? You're just gonna completely close yourself off, and then you'll just be alone your whole life. Which, again, being alone is not a bad thing. I said in either last episode or the episode before, I have gotten to a place in life where I'm perfectly happy by myself, and I don't foresee myself going out into the dating world again. It may change in the future, but like, I've built this nice world for myself where I'm like, I'm happy, and it feels weird for me to think of trying to bring somebody else into this. So there's nothing wrong with being by yourself, but if if you're feeling lonely, or if you're wanting to explore love and relationships and that kind of stuff. Because one thing that we've seen throughout this series with Won Young and Taejun is, even though Taejun started with, his heart guarded, this chip on his shoulder, this emotional scar, through his interactions and the time he spent with Won Young, he let himself love, and he enjoyed being there. He enjoyed being in that world. He wanted to stay in love. He wanted to stay loving Won Young. He was open to that. So if the idea of holding on to this scar that you had back then is going to keep you closed off so much that you're just going to avoid all future chances of you actually being happy, is it worth holding on to that scar? I'm not saying you gotta forget what happened. No, you can forgive and not forget. Keep it in the back of your mind. Remain cautious, but don't hold on to it. Don't let it have such a hold on your life that you just can't let anyone else. Because it's not fair to you. It's not fair to you. Basically, is what he's saying. He's not saying it's not fair to Won Young or anything like. He's saying it's not fair to you for you to close yourself off like this because of something some asshole did to you 5 years ago. Learn to let that go. And after that conversation, you saw that conscious change in Taejun, because the last 2 episodes, it's been this back and forth of, yes, he cares, he wants to take care, he keeps falling back into those habits that he had. He worries about Won Young. Is he okay? Is he eating? Oh no, he protects my mentor from getting trampled by these logs. Are you okay? My mentor is on the ground passed out. Are you okay? He keeps falling back into that natural state of caring and wanting to take care of Won Young, but he keeps pulling away because he doesn't want to get his heart hurt. He doesn't want to get hurt. And it's just you saw that conscious change in him where it's okay, I am going to try. I'm going to try again. I'm ready to try again. I'm ready to listen to him. I'm ready to try this again, which is where the whole Christmas Eve party came into the picture. Because Taejun's not going to be there. Like I called it then. I was like, his friend said that Taejun's not going to be there solely so that Won Young would come to the party. Because we felt like if Won Young knew Taejun was coming, he would feel awkward or whatnot, and he would just not come out of, respect, or out of trying not to overstep boundaries with Taejun. But we knew all along Taejun was going to come. But then, towards the end, Won Young just happened to be in the lobby and saw Taejun meet the other guy, and they got in a taxi. And like I was saying there, I don't trust this other man, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be what it looks like, but also I'm like, it's probably not what it looks like. But us being in this series, of course Won Young is going to see that and make an assumption, because we can't have a series without us making some stupid assumption based on what we saw versus facts that we know. Because me as a logical thinking person would be like, why would Taejun want to go back to that man? That is the man who devastated his heart, caused him all these emotional scars, and kind of laid this mistrusting groundwork that I then followed up with my lies and deceit. So after being hurt doubly, why would he want to go back with that? That can't be the case. Plus, they were both at the same photo shoot last episode, so it could be just a work-related thing, which, it turned out being just a work-related thing related to the business proposal that he came up with. But in Won Young's head, he saw them together, and he's like, okay, well, I don't know that I can keep doing this. I don't know if I can keep putting myself out there and reaching out to him. He's told me time after time after time he doesn't want to see me again. He doesn't want to see me again. And now I'm seeing him with his ex, who was trying to get his attention again. So maybe they got back together. Who knows? So I'm just not going to. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't keep putting myself through this. So I'm just going to distance myself. Basically, a role reversal. First, Taejun was trying to protect himself, so he was keeping Won-young at arm's length, and now the roles have completely reversed. Taejun had some friend who finally reached him and convinced him to change his mind. He's like, okay, I'm willing to listen. Won-young saw something that made him change his mind. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to protect myself. I'm just going to step out of this equation and keep everything at arm's length. And that's where we are right now. I'm assuming by the end of the last episode, it'll be all fixed and whatnot, but that's where we are right now. And then as far as Hotae and Dong-hee, we got a little bit more. We got some backstory for Dong-hee and got to see that, his dad was abusive, and potentially kicked him out because he was gay, but Auntie was there. We love supportive Auntie. And, she has been just an incredible support system to him. And I feel like especially part of the LGBTQ plus community, every one of us needs that sort of system in our fundamental, growing years. And whether that family is blood or chosen, we just need that support system to be able to make it through this terrible world that we live in right now. We've been living in for decades, centuries at this point, but now again too. So I'm glad that he had his auntie there, and I'm glad that she was such a great support system. And you could see them just getting very emotional at that lunch, and she just had to dismiss herself. She's like, you stay inside. And he apologized for something. I'm not 100% sure. I went back and rewatched the scene. I'm not 100% sure what what caused that emotional outpouring at that particular moment. Yes, we got the flashback. I don't know what he was apologizing for. Maybe it's something that was referenced back in an earlier episode, but I feel, again, we haven't gotten an abundance of this ship, so Dong-hee's really been more of a side character who's been here to try and facilitate getting Taejun and Won-young's relationship in a good place. Anytime they've had a fight or an argument, he's kind of there talking to one or the other, giving the advice, and just kind of helping to set the stage to get them back into each other's good graces. Meanwhile, he's been ignoring Hotae for the last however many episodes, who's been trying to pursue something with him. But we did have good conversation with them. We did have good conversation. Again, open, honest conversation. I love it. I live for it. So we did have that towards the end with them in the cafe when Hotae was just cleaning up and basically just explaining why he'd been acting wild. He's just like, ever since you left for university, I felt some kind of way, and I started acting out because I didn't understand these feelings I was having for someone I considered a close brother. And I figured if I ever felt the need that I needed to confess, I'd back out of it because I'd be so embarrassed of this, that, and the other. But then, that was bullshit. And I'll always be here. I'll always be here clinging to you. You can keep rejecting me, and that's fine, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like when he went back he's like, I got to go clean this. Just the look on Dong-hee's face, I feel like he's finally getting to that point where he's ready to not necessarily embrace this relationship, but stop pushing Dong-hee away, and maybe just, I feel like that conversation really, really helped to get him to see the light. But you know what I'm saying? So we got one episode left. We will see where it takes us. I am going to refill my drink again. Well, actually, I don't think I touched it all that much. Actually, no, I don't need to refill. So I'm just going to dive into the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all of my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways or gain early access to my reactions, you can join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya.